NASA says its Voyager 1 probe, the most distant human-made object in the universe, is sending usable information to Earth again.
After 47 silent years, Voyager 1 sent a chilling message. Something is heading straight for Earth. Built decades ago to capture pictures of planets, no one expected it to still be listening, let alone sending signals back. Why did this old spacecraft, drifting alone in the dark, decide to speak up now? Tune in to discover what this message will reveal about what's coming our way that will put us all in danger. The signal that stunned NASA. Imagine being a scientist at NASA. You're used to getting boring old updates from this elderly space hunk. Data about cosmic particles, how cold it is, how far it's gone. You know, all the kind of stuff that makes most people's eyes glaze over. But then one morning, you wake up and your old toy, the one you'd almost forgotten, decides to send an alert. Like a friend who ghosted you for decades suddenly dropping a note saying, "By the way, something weird is coming your way." Naturally, it got people talking. Was it some dust, a comet? Or maybe, and this is where people get imaginative, something else entirely? Before we dive deeper, brace yourself. The reality behind Voyager's message might be more than anyone at NASA bargained for. And believe us, this won't be the only thing that will shock you. See, Voyager launched way back in September 1977, a time when people still thought they could trust their polyester suits to make them look cool. It was built to explore planets, take pictures, and then get out of Dodge. It did all that and more. It even left the solar system entirely, which is more than any other human-made thing has done. But here's the twist. After all these years of moving through the cold, empty spaces beyond our sun's reach, it suddenly feels like it has something new to say. And the timing? It's got people scratching their heads. The message wasn't some deep space version of "how you doing?" or even a proper status report. It was different, odd. It had patterns that were just off, something the spacecraft hadn't sent before. So the science community, always desperate for something to latch onto, began to wonder what it meant. They dug into it, dissected the message, and came to one unsettling conclusion. Something's moving toward us. Something big enough for the probe to pick up on, even while it's floating in the void, powered by a battery older than most people's parents. Now keep in mind, the spacecraft is almost 50 years old. It communicates by sending tiny signals that take over 20 hours just to get here. Its tech is about as advanced as a brick compared to today's smartphones. But this message, however faint, had a pattern to it that clearly wasn't just another cosmic fluke. It was deliberate. There was meaning behind it, even if it wasn't crystal clear. Scientists guessed it was trying to say something had changed, that there's something new out there, heading this way. Naturally, theories began flying. Was it just a comet making a big entrance? Some wandering chunk of ice and rock that happened to cross paths with the probe? Or was it something stranger, something that couldn't be easily dismissed? Some even brought up gravitational waves, those big ripples in space-time caused by gigantic celestial events, wondering if the old space traveler had somehow sensed one. The thing is, the probe wasn't built to detect things like that, but sometimes technology does more than it's supposed to. Sometimes even outdated junk manages to surprise you. Of course, then there were the wilder ideas, aliens, because let's face it, there's always going to be that crowd. An unknown spacecraft or a massive structure drifting in the dark, something that's finally poked its head into our corner of the universe. Sure, it's the stuff of science fiction, but the absence of concrete answers just makes people wonder. The unknown gets people excited, even if the logical part of our brains keeps telling us it's probably just a rock. Why now, though? After almost 5 decades of silence, why would the probe suddenly have anything interesting to say? Maybe it's purely a coincidence, just a fluke that after all this time, it ran into something worth noting. Or maybe it's in a part of space that's a bit rougher, where particles and magnetic fields are behaving oddly. Think of it like an old ship drifting through rough waters. It might be feeling those cosmic waves differently now, catching bits of data it hadn't noticed before. With Voyager's signal reaching us now, we have to wonder, was this a new warning or something very old, traveling for ages through space? A signal from the unknown. It could also be that this message was old, really old, and just took this long to get here. After all, the spacecraft is over 12 billion miles away. 20+ hours is just how long it takes for its signals to travel to Earth at the speed of light. So if it did sense something, if something was moving our way, that something might be a lot closer now than when the probe noticed it. And that, well, that's the part that makes people uneasy. And then there are the non-scientific theories, the ones that populate online forums and get people buzzing. Suddenly, everyone with a keyboard was an expert on interstellar signals. Some claim this was some kind of cosmic warning, that the universe was trying to tell us something, using the old spacecraft as a mouthpiece. But come on, the universe doesn't exactly have a hotline to Earth. It's more likely that something strange happened, and we just don't have the full picture yet. Still, NASA wasn't about to let this go. They threw their best minds at it, started crunching data, and turned some of the biggest telescopes in the world toward the probe's path to see what it might have bumped into. It's not every day you get a message from deep space that seems to have a warning attached to it. Sure, it might just be a coincidence. It might be space debris or some exotic cosmic phenomenon. But the timing, the odd structure of the message, and the sheer improbability of it, they all make for one heck of a question. The spacecraft's sudden reappearance on our radar isn't just a scientific event. It's also a kind of cosmic reality check. Here we are, sending probes off into the unknown, hoping to learn something about the universe, and yet there's still so much that we can't predict or understand. Space is big, really big, and despite all our technology and know-how, we still get blindsided by things from time to time. The fact that the probe, that dusty old machine, might have sensed something unusual just proves that there's a lot out there that still eludes us. This whole event has also put the spacecraft back in the spotlight, reviving interest in one of humanity's most daring missions. It's funny how a piece of tech that old can still manage to surprise us. NASA, of course, has been quick to play down the fears. They assure everyone that there's no imminent danger, nothing coming to smash into Earth or kidnap humanity. But even they admit, something weird is going on out there, and figuring out what it is could take a while. In the end, maybe that's what makes this whole situation so compelling. It's not just about the science, it's about that feeling of staring into the dark, vast unknown, and realizing that something's staring back. The spacecraft, drifting through the blackness, picked up on something. It's not the clearest message, not the most detailed, but it's enough to get us wondering. It's enough to remind us that even with all our advances, there's still so much we just don't know. So here we are, left with a message from the farthest edges of human exploration. A message that says something might be headed our way, or at least something that made an impression on a spacecraft drifting through nothingness. Whether it's a comet, a cloud of cosmic dust, or something we haven't even begun to imagine, the fact remains that the old probe decided to let us know. It's like a whisper from deep space, a reminder that the story isn't over. Not yet. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Sure, NASA is taking a look, scientists are running their calculations, and everyone's waiting to see if anything else comes of it. But for now, all we can do is sit back, keep our eyes on the sky, and wait. Maybe there's nothing to worry about. Maybe it's just another bit of cosmic debris on a harmless trajectory. Or maybe, just maybe, the probe has given us a heads up about something we really need to pay attention to. 47 years after launch, and it still finds a way to get our attention. It's out there, drifting, far beyond where any human eye can see. And maybe, just maybe, it's seeing something we need to be ready for. Whatever it is, it's coming, slowly but surely. And with any luck, we'll be prepared when it finally arrives. Even with some doubts, NASA's top scientists began searching through Voyager's data and aimed their biggest telescopes at the stars. The relic that won't quit. As the story of this mission continues, it's worth reminding ourselves of just how remarkable this little machine is. Imagine a car built in the 70s still running smoothly today, or a computer from that time still crunching numbers without a hitch. That's what we have. Out there in deep space, functioning on outdated tech, barely any power left, and still managing to send us a signal. It's pretty much the ultimate survivor, a relic from a time when humans were just dipping their toes into the deep end of space exploration, and now here we are, hoping that this ancient probe has one last incredible story to tell. The probes, both 1 and 2, were launched with so much hope and ambition. They carry the golden record, a message from humanity to whoever or whatever might come across it one day. It's a snapshot of who we are. Music, sounds of nature, greetings in dozens of languages, even the laughter of a child. It's as if we were shouting into the void, "Hey, we're here!" Now with this latest message, it feels like maybe, just maybe, the void is whispering back. There's something poetic about it, isn't there? This tiny piece of metal, battered and old, still making itself heard, still part of the conversation. And the best part is that we don't know what comes next. All we know is that something's out there, something significant enough for the probe to notice. Maybe it's an object, maybe a phenomenon, or perhaps something we've never even theorized before. Space is unpredictable, and the message is a humbling reminder of that. Voyager 1 is 12 billion miles away, in a region of space that few can even comprehend. It's dark, it's cold, and it's lonely. But it's not empty. Out there in the blackness, there are particles and fields and energies moving around, forming patterns that we're only just beginning to understand. Voyager's sensors are primitive compared to today's standards, but they're still good enough to tell us that something's different, something's not quite right, and for all we know, that difference could be on its way here. The scientists who designed Voyager never thought it would be here today, still functional, still transmitting. They built it to last 5 years, and it's outlived every single one of them. It's funny how things work out sometimes, how something that was meant to be temporary ends up lasting so long that it sees things no one else could have imagined. Voyager is like a ghost from our past, a reminder of what we were and how far we've come. And now it's reminding us that the universe is full of surprises. What happens now is anyone's guess. There are plenty of theories, plenty of ideas, but the truth is, nobody really knows what Voyager has picked up on. It could be harmless, or it could be something groundbreaking. It could be the beginning of a new chapter in our understanding of the universe. Or it could be nothing more than a glitch, a quirk of old technology finally giving up the ghost. But until we know for sure, we're left with that sense of wonder, that feeling that maybe there's something out there worth discovering. Voyager 1 is still moving, still drifting farther away from us every second. It's in interstellar space now, in a place where the rules are different, where the influences of the sun are no longer felt. It's out in the great unknown, where anything is possible. And the fact that it's still talking to us, still sending us signals, is nothing short of amazing. Even more amazing is the idea that one of those signals might be a warning, a heads up about something we need to be ready for. Imagine what it must be like for those scientists sitting in their labs, staring at data from a machine that's so far away it takes almost a day for its messages to reach us. They're trying to interpret what Voyager is saying, trying to figure out if it's really telling us something important or if it's just a fluke. It must be both thrilling and terrifying to know that you might be on the edge of a major discovery or that you might be chasing shadows in the dark. As we keep trying to understand these signals, one thing is clear. Voyager's path didn't end when it left our solar system. A call from the darkness. And for the rest of us, it's a reminder that we're still explorers. We might be stuck on this little blue dot for now, but we're reaching out into the universe, trying to understand what's out there. Voyager 1 is a symbol of that desire, that drive to keep going, to keep asking questions, even when we don't know if we'll like the answers. It's a reminder that there's so much more to learn, so much more to see, and that we're just getting started. 47 years is a long time for anything to keep working, let alone a spacecraft hurtling through the emptiness of space. And yet, here we are, still listening, still waiting to see what Voyager will tell us next. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's everything. Either way, it's a story worth following, a problem worth unraveling. And as we wait, we can only hope that whatever's out there, whatever's coming, we'll be ready for it when it arrives. Voyager 1 may be miles away in the vastness of space, but it remains a key part of our narrative. It keeps us linked to the outer reaches of space, continuously beaming back information from the frontiers of the known. As long as it continues to communicate, we'll remain all ears. In a cosmos as immense as ours, every murmur is significant, each signal a doorway to new knowledge, a stepping stone for growth, and a deeper understanding of the cosmos we inhabit. This connection teaches us something profound, not only about the universe, but about who we are. It's about our innate need to know more, our toughness in facing the unknown, and our thirst for venturing further. Voyager 1 is not merely a spacecraft. It's a testament to human ambition and imagination. Each message it sends from beyond is a reminder that our adventure is far from finished. We stand with our gaze fixed on the heavens, our senses attuned to the faintest transmissions, and our minds open to what might come. We're ready for whatever problems the universe has in store. That's our essence. We delve into the unknown, we question the established, and we stretch the limits of our understanding. And as Voyager 1 sails through the cosmic sea of darkness, we stand by, eager for the next revelation, the next clue that will shed light on the vast intricacies of our universe. Our path with Voyager 1 is like watching a constant beacon of exploration, pushing us to think beyond our conventional boundaries. Every bit of data, every whisper of signal we receive is a lesson in persistence, a spark for our collective curiosity. It's a call to keep seeking, to keep learning. Who knows what each new bit of information will teach us about our place in the cosmos or the nature of reality itself? The stories Voyager 1 tells us through its signals are chapters of a much larger saga, a saga of human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. With every piece of data, we build a richer understanding of the cosmos. It's a path of discovery that stretches back decades, yet each day brings something new, adding layers to our comprehension. As Voyager 1 ventures farther from Earth, it bridges the gap between us and the vast unknown. Each message is a voice from the depths of space, calling us to wonder, to dream, and to explore further. It's a voice we've followed for years, one that has guided us through the darkness and taught us about the stars, the planets, and the fabric of space itself. Our commitment to listening to Voyager 1 is a commitment to never stop learning. It's about maintaining a bond with this distant ambassador, ensuring that its lonely trek through space continues to enlighten and inspire us. We listen, and in doing so, we keep the spirit of exploration alive, feeding our collective desire to know more and push farther. Is Voyager 1's message just a glitch, or is something truly approaching Earth from deep space? Could it be a warning we can't ignore? Tell us what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.